I've had the Benks Aurora Kevlar case for a few days now, and it's a beautiful and well-made case. Full disclosure, this video is not sponsored by Benks, but Benks did send this case over to me at no charge after I expressed interest in reviewing it and a few others. As usual, everything is going to be my honest opinion. Benks is a company that takes both positive and negative feedback equally well, so I don't have to worry about them not liking anything I say about the case, and so I can be totally objective. And here is the case. The main reason we buy cases for our phones obviously is for protection. As far as protection goes, I personally find these Kevlar cases offer enough protection for most people. I mean, honestly, phones are built really strongly these days. Like, the internals are really strong. So when you drop your phone, you're really talking about damage to the outside, damage to the metal, and obviously breaking the glass. I think, now feel free to doubt me if you want, but I think dropping this phone in even a slim case like this is going to offer adequate protection, as long as I don't fling it out of a moving car or anything crazy like that, right? So as far as bump protection goes, I think this sort of case is going to be ideal and is going to do the job well for those kinds of small impacts. The one thing I do worry about though on slim cases like this is front glass protection. I don't use a screen protector at all. So there's a bit of a ridge around the top, like there's a bit of a rim. The case forms a rim which protects the front glass for when you put it down flat onto a surface, for example. So I'm quite confident that this is going to be fine, placed face down on any surface. However, if you place it on a rough surface like concrete or something, you know, where like you might have like gravel or something embedded in the concrete, that might damage your screen. Although I'm not going to do it myself, I would advise you get a screen protector for your phone if you have a case like this, because not only would it protect the screen, but it would kind of make the screen level with the edge of the case. So like right now, when you're swiping side to side and so on, you do kind of feel the edge of the case a little bit. It's not bad, it's not terrible or anything, but you do feel the case, whereas if you had a screen protector on it, it's going to feel nice and smooth, just like when you swipe on the edges here where the button cutouts are, how smooth and nice that is. I'd imagine that would be what the whole front would be like if you had a screen protector on it. But the other thing I want to say is that there's no soft liner on the inside of this case. It is directly against your phone. But this is not so much of a problem as it used to be, because actually glass and titanium are quite durable. So if there's any small grains of dust, and it has to be small because there isn't a lot of gap between the case and the phone, it is that well engineered. So any small bits of dust that you get in there, I don't think will actually do much damage to glass and titanium. So nowadays I don't actually mind not having a soft lining on the inside. When you think about it, this case is so thin, any bit of soft lining on the inside is going to increase the thickness of it, and it's just going to defeat the purpose of having a thin case in the first place. I also need to talk about camera protection. As with all of Benks cases, they've got a really nice camera lip there, camera surround, and it's, you know what I like, it's not as extremely high as previous Benks cases, so I'm actually kind of happy with that, because it does still protect the lenses really well, but doesn't add a lot of bulk to it. So I really like the lens protector on this case in particular. Also, one good thing about this case is that all of the sides are protected, and that includes the top and the bottom of the case. I know there are a lot of thin cases out there that kind of omit the top and the bottom. I don't know, I can't say for sure, but obviously if you have the top and bottom protected, then that's better, right? Plus, I mean, especially with this case, I'm going to talk about looks next, but on the top and the bottom, you have a very nice look of the Kevlar. So actually having the top and the bottom there covered is a benefit for this particular design of case. That brings me on to looks. Now, looks could be very subjective. I do have the all black version of this case. That's this one here, the Montage, which I really like. I think it goes with everything I own. This case is very similar, very similar to that, except that it has some color to it. So the best way I could describe the color scheme of this case is like, this is a rich people kind of color scheme, because you got the navy blue, right? You got the like racing green, British racing green, you've got a little bit of orange, and you've got the stripes. Yeah, this is like when you go into those fashion, you know, high fashion stores and you see like colors of clothing. This is what you see. You never see black. Yeah, you never see rich people wearing black. They always have some kind of toned down color. So that's how I best describe this case. This is less like a rich person's case. It makes you look rich if you have this case. It's a very nice color scheme. Like sometimes it looks kind of subdued, And like, but if you have like it in a bright light, especially like sunlight, then you can definitely see the colors on it. So it really depends on the lighting, how it looks. And that's a nice property of Kevlar cases as far as looks go. And this case is very well built, lots of really good workmanship, which I will go into later on. As we're talking about looks, I know the way you're going to ask me, does the case smudge? If you go to work all day and it's hot and you're sweaty and you rub it against your face, yes, it will show the grease and it will smudge. If you wash your hands throughout the day, like most people kind of normally do, then you're not gonna see it. Look, I've just come back from work. Yeah, it is like 8:15. I've used this case all day, and you know what? If you really look, you can see some like grease and oil stains, but it's not like, it doesn't look disgusting. It's fine, and this will just wipe off as well. So this is a full day of use. I don't know if maybe you can barely see some marks on it, some little grease marks. So I'll go ahead and give it a wipe, give it a little rub with some microfiber, and it's gone, right? So it's not like it's gonna stay, it's not permanent. If you do get it slightly greasy, it will still wipe off really easily and really quickly when you want it to. So I would say don't worry about smudges on this case. Now, the build quality. I have to say this is the best built case I have personally had my hands on. You can see the quality, the time, and the workmanship that has gone into making this case. I still can't get over the fact that each of these cases has a serial number, which I will show you in the unboxing following this discussion. Like, you know, there are things that have to have serial numbers, like a laptop and your phone. They have serial numbers, because when anything goes wrong, you need to take it back to the company and look, here's my serial number. Things like cases and like Oakley sunglasses. I have a bunch of Oakley sunglasses with serial numbers, and it's not so that you can take it back to them if it breaks, because obviously it's an Oakley, you bought it for them, you have your receipt, that wouldn't matter. But a serial number gives you a certain sense of exclusivity, because your case is unique. Your case has a number that no one else has. And if you look at anything that people make that they try to make exclusive, it's always going to have a serial number on it. Even I've seen Honda Type R's with little serial numbers down by the gear shift as well. And that's all it is really, to give you a more of a sense of exclusivity, that you've paid for this case, you've paid money for this, and that's like an added value that you get from it. This case has the usual attention to detail with regard to the directions of the Kevlar weave. Everything is perfectly aligned, right? There's nothing skewed. Even like along the edge, you can see that the weave is aligned perfectly with the edges of the case. And what impressed me most of all was the corners. Now, because you have to wrap the Kevlar around some kind of mold or something to make this case, they have done it so well that if you look at the corner, it's really symmetrically done. Now, I hope this is focusing, otherwise I'm going to have to do some B-roll. But you can see how the corners have been folded so that they're perfectly symmetrical. And when you look at the bottom like that and the top, yeah, you can see that time has been taken to carefully align the Kevlar to the mold used to make this case. In addition to that, Benks have made some improvements in the design over the previous one. So, for example, the inner ring around the camera bump protection is slightly different. It's a bit more rounded, and I'm not sure if that's meant to protect the phone a bit better. I mean, I had no problems with this one, but maybe just maybe it's going to protect the phone a bit more. All of the cutouts are neat and accurate, like around the volume buttons and the action button. Perfectly cut out, no complaints at all. Power button, perfectly cut out. And all of the ports and speakers at the bottom also perfectly cut out. So no build quality issues with this case whatsoever. Another thing people ask all the time about these kind of cases is it slippery? And the answer to that is no. Look, it is as slippery as anything else that you hold. It's as slippery as this Oakley case. It's as slippery as this lens, right? A case being slippery isn't an excuse for you to start dropping it everywhere, okay? It's not like it's greasy, slippery, or like shiny metal slippery. It's not. It is a Kevlar case, and it's got a rubberized coating on it. As long as you hold this like a normal human being, it's not going to slip out of your hands. Well, the last thing I'm going to talk about is the MagSafe strength. And I'm going to use this Anker 3-in-1 charger because this is the only MagSafe charger that I have. There it is. Perfect. I have to say, the magnets on this Aurora case are not as strong as the magnets on the Montage. But actually, that's a really good thing. I'll tell you why. Because when you have this charger on your desk and you want to put your phone on and off it. Yeah, you don't want to pick up the whole charger. Like you can see right now, this case is actually picking up the whole charger, and it's kind of annoying because it turns picking your phone off the charger from a one-hand operation into a two-hand operation. So that's kind of, I have to like dig it and like angle it, and also I have to think about it. I don't want to have to think about it. So they've made the magnet slightly weaker on this case so that it doesn't fall off, obviously, but when you're ready to pick it up, yeah, you can just pick it up. You don't have to think about how to do it. It just picks up and it leaves the charger behind. So I like that the magnets are not as strong on this case as the Montage was. So, right, conclusion time. I really like this case a lot. I mean, it caught my eye on the Benks website, and that's why I asked to be sent it so I can review it. I am not going to use it all the time. I'm going to use it in conjunction with the Montage case because this is just a matter of opinion, right? I really like the all black of this. Every now and then I might want to switch it up and go out with this one if I'm going to some kind of particular event or something and I want to have some color instead of just black. I'll use this one. But these two are very closely matched in terms of quality, build, design, protection. It's really just a matter of expressing your personality in either completely murdered out black or a little bit of color. So at least that's how I think I'm going to use these for now. Subscribe so in a few months' time you can find out what actually happened, if I stuck to that plan or not. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, the best way you can support me is to subscribe to me. And that way you'll get notified when I put up new videos. I have a bunch more Benks cases to review. I started with this one. 3 really nice ones coming up. So you'll want to see those. Remember, this video is not sponsored. I did ask Benks to send me this and they did, because I think they value my feedback. So lastly, if you want, check out my link below at vinegeography.com. I've got a couple prints for sale and you can buy it on like mugs and mouse pads and stuff like that if you like them. But that's it. Until next time. See ya.